At least he brushed his hair for us.
It's been a long day, dude. Oh my God. Hold on.
He's wearing his Sunday's best.
Sunday best.
Hey everyone, welcome to ThisLife, my podcast. Today I have these two incredible people, Raquel and German.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having us, buddy.
Absolutely. Hopefully this isn't as awkward as it feels. So this is the second episode. I did one episode at my house by myself, and it was more of a rant. So I don't even know if I'm going to release that. Okay. But maybe you're the first episode back. Maybe
Let's go. Started off with a bang.
Starting off with a bang. So tell everyone who you are. Like, how do people know you now?
Yeah, so I'm a two-time national boxing champion.
Right.
I was back in my teenage years, and that's when I first hit national, what would I say, national fame. I wasn't really famous, but that is a true story.
You were famous to me.
I was a two-time national champion.
Wait, really?
I was, yeah.
Oh, shoot, I didn't know that.
True story.
That's sick.
But no, I think people know us now. I mean, we were very involved in our community, in our local church for a long time. So a lot of people know us for that. Mama was a school teacher here at a local elementary. So
I wanted to tell my own story.
Yeah, so everywhere she goes, we are recognized. But I think as of most recently, I would say it's the coffee shop that we own here in town. Good Source Coffee, best coffee there is.
Absolutely.
It's pretty good.
And the most beautiful owner as well.
You? You're talking about you?
No, I'm talking about her.
Oh, gotcha.
All about himself.
Okay.
Raquel, tell us about yourself.
Well, when I was born, I broke the record at the hospital for being the heaviest baby.
Did you really?
Yeah, 13 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about myself. That's
Mom's
exciting.
never walked the same.
Oh, shit.
But then some 14-pounder came around and broke the record, took that away from me. But I born and raised in Escondido, and preschool teacher since 2002 in Escondido. So a lot of the people that I know has been from education. Nice. I'm still in education, but now we're making a lot of new friends at the coffee shop. So we love that.
Dope. A lot of people ask me how I know you two. Quick little backstory of how we know each other. Currently, we're working together with Good Source and making all kinds of fun content, and we'll kind of get into that later. But we met because I think Abby was maybe the second or third wedding I ever did. So for everyone listening, their daughter, shout out to Abby. Shout out to both your daughters, Brianna and Abby.
The best kids
Thank
in the
you.
world.
Yeah, that's right. No favorites.
No, absolutely not.
So right before COVID, right? Or was it during
No,
COVID?
during
It
COVID.
was during COVID.
During COVID,
Mm-hmm.
I get an email from Abby, and she says, "Hey, can you shoot my wedding?" I said, "Absolutely." And then the world shut down, and everything pretty much stopped. And I think, did it get postponed twice or just once?
Just
Twice.
once.
Okay.
Yeah, twice.
Twice?
Did
Yeah.
get postponed twice.
I forget everything.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
What year did she end up getting married in? Was it 2020 or 2021?
2020, they had the backyard wedding.
Correct.
Okay.
And then they had their wedding at the venue for their 1-year anniversary.
Got it.
2021, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I had a couple of brides who the same thing happened, and I had just started my business too. So I was like, "Let's go! I'm just gonna do weddings." And I said that in like February, and then March it was like, "Oh, no more groups."
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that was worrisome because I was like, "This is my income." But yeah, it changed once, and she said, "Hey, so we're gonna do it in August on this date." I said, "Cool." And then she was like, "Actually, the venue said we can't, so we're gonna have to push it again." And I was like, "Sure, that's fine." And then eventually the wedding happened, and it was weird because every time when I lived here in Escondido, every time I was out, I would see you guys, like randomly. And at first it was like, "Oh, hey, it's Abby's parents," and you guys were like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then it was like, I think I saw you at Fortuna's, and you're like, hey, I was like, oh, what's going on? And then I was like, dude, we see you guys everywhere. Then Abby worked somewhere, and and I kept seeing you guys, and I think Abby told me, I don't know if I should say this. Abby was like, hey, we're gonna start this venture at a certain time. It was way too early, and I was like, dude, badass. Like, how do I get involved? And then I just started thinking, and we ultimately came to the decision where, well, I talked to you guys, and I was like, I think you guys should do like a lead up of, this is the business we're starting, and this is what it's going to come out to be. And did you guys expect it to be this poppin'?
No.
This loved, I guess I should say.
No, I think especially every Saturday, we have a like pinch me moment. Like, is this really happening? And it still blows our mind every Saturday or just every week as we go through. We're always like, we're so happy we did this. We are so happy that we took that risk and that chance, because it blows our mind still. It's
fantastic. Going there Fridays and Saturdays, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And I think 2 weeks ago I went on a Saturday and I couldn't even talk to you guys. And every time I'm there, like, we'll yap it up for like an hour probably. And I look through the little window and Raquel's sitting there and she's like, hey.
You guys, I'm in education, so that hustle and bustle, making sandwiches, I was sweating. I have a lot of respect for our kiddos that work there. It's
nuts.
It's nuts, but I love it. Yeah. It's exciting. I got my cardio in on Saturday.
What's been the best part of the journey so far?
I think there's two parts.
Go ahead.
I think my favorite part is that it's a family business. And so it includes our girls, and there's a reason for us, even though we are always together, there's like something else that brings us together. And I love seeing everyone's way of contributing to the business. And that for me is very special, because they each bring something so unique and special. And so I love that it's ours. It's our baby. Yeah. It's not his. It's not mine. Like, it's all of ours. I love that part. That part.
Yeah, I agree. I think we did a lot of planning leading up to the project starting, right? We really were thorough on what the vision was, and we shared that with our designer and our contractor. And then with you helped us kind of visualize that for those that weren't seen behind the scenes. So that was really cool leading up to it. And I think now is also the community aspect. I mean, we've made so many friends, and I can truly say friends, not just people that come and buy our coffee, but friends that have invited us over for dinner. We're planning like all these barbecues now that the weather's getting better. We're, summertime's hitting, but yeah, that's been really cool. I've really enjoyed that piece as well. Just a meeting of new people and creating a true community feel. And it's the local watering hole. It's the coolest thing in the world.
It's a great spot. I mean, especially where you guys opened it up, there's nothing there like that. There's a Starbucks. Right. And people are kind of over the burnt coffee. And I used to never drink lattes, and now I drink them all the time because of you guys.
And matcha.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, don't get us started with the matcha.
The matcha, man. It's been wild. I don't know, what is this? Yeah, the matcha. I feel like you guys are hopping on the matcha revolution. That's like a huge thing. What separates you guys from anyone else?
Because we're cool.
I mean, besides the friendliness and just the kind of the vibe in there, like, what do you guys think?
Well, I think if I can answer this one, my biggest vision was I wanted a space that was safe for people to hang out. And a lot of times when we travel and we go to coffee shops, there's one seat or there's one little bench, and there's nowhere to sit down and enjoy a cup of coffee. You don't really get mugs anymore. Everything's to go. They want you to leave. It's like this, just pick up and go. We don't care to interact. And Herman and I, we're big social people, if you haven't noticed. Like, we love talking to people. We kind of just thrive on chatting with others and getting to know people and making friends. So that was really important to me, to have a space that was welcoming. Like, when you walk in, you don't feel like we don't want to see you. Like, you're going to feel welcome. You feel like you can share your feelings with us, that you can just kind of, if you need to cry on someone's shoulder, we're there for you. You want to laugh, you want to tell us some great news, like you can come to us. And it's so cool now because we know people that are training for a marathon, and after the marathon they'll come in and we're like, it's your marathon. They're so excited to share because we care. We want to listen to them, and we know them by their name, and we know what orders they get. And so that was my biggest vision, and what I love about our space is that you can come and you can hang out for 4 hours, and we're not going to judge you. We're not going to kick you out. We're going to be like, we're so glad you're here. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah, I think as we were leading up to creating this coffee shop, there was 3 things that we shared that we wanted it to be, right? We wanted one, like Mama said, is the environment, the location, just the space itself. It's inviting, it's bright, it's open, it's spacious, it's clean. It provides people an opportunity to come and sit and do whatever. Dates, Bible studies, homework, work. So we hit on that. And then 2 is our product. You know, we stand behind everything that we make. It's all house-made syrups. So there's nothing artificial in any of the products that we make. We have a great roaster that we partner with, and we get top tier, best in class coffee. And then 3 is, I think the biggest piece of the puzzle here is the staff. That's the trifecta, right? Our staff is, I would put them up against any coffee shop in America. They're just that good, not only of what they do from a coffee perspective, but just great people, great conversationalists. Everyone that comes in loves them. They remember people's names. They remember people's drinks. I mean, they alone are the stars of the show. They're just phenomenal. So I would say if we were to say what really makes us stand apart, it'd be those 3, but I would capitalize staff because they're amazing, led by Abigail, my baby.
That's right.
Sweet. Speaking of Abigail, family, I don't want to just have this be all about Good Source, even though that's the thing right now. But we had dinner once. You guys told my fiance and I kind of your story. I put a poll out, or not a poll, but like a open question thing for people to ask you guys questions. I'm not going to go into those yet. I'm going to do it later. But tell us about you guys. How did you meet? Your marriage story, which I think is really cool. Yeah, why don't we dive into that?
Yeah, so I was, I think I was 15 years old. She was 17. And we
barely
17, yeah. Okay. But we.
I was going to say 17, 18, or what are we talking here?
And we grew up at the same church, so we've known of each other. So leading up to that point, right, we've known of each other. Never really hung out. I can't even say we ever had a conversation with each other, but we knew of each other because we went to the same church, and it wasn't a big church, so we.
And I was really good friends with his sister.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So one day we had this event where we were going to go down to San Diego and go meet with other churches and have this big youth event. And we were in this big 15-passenger van. And we ended up having to sit in the furthest row in the back. We sat right next to each other, and we just hit it off on the drive down. I mean, we just talked, and I was like, man, this girl's like the coolest girl in the world. We had our event, and I just couldn't wait to get back into the van and ride home with, next to her. And I think that was like in January, and we were pretty much inseparable for like ever. Our first date was a Valentine's Day dinner we had at church. We still have that picture. It was the coolest little thing. It was pouring rain. We were carpooling with her sister. Her sister had a two-door convertible. There were 6 of us in that car.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anna broke the law.
I got to sit on his lap.
Oh, dude, after church? Damn.
I think it was before church.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm not judging, but who is.
And so that was how it started. And then we went to prom. We went to her prom. She was a senior. We went to her prom, and that's actually when we became official boyfriend and girlfriend. That was in May. And then we got pregnant before marriage. And then we ended up getting married in November. I was 16. She had barely turned 18. My mom had a signed permission slip for me to get married to her. And till this day, that's the best decision I've ever made. Here we are, 26 years later. So,
26.
is that right, Mama? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Did it feel weird dating a younger guy?
She
No.
always dated older guys.
Oh, really?
I usually did, or of the same age. I didn't date a lot. It wasn't really my thing because nobody liked me.
Lies.
Gotcha.
But when I was, his sister and I were really good friends, and so I'd go over to their house, and I'd always tell her, I was like, your brother is so cute. If he was just a little bit older, I would tell her. And he won't admit to this right now, but he would tell her, like, your friend has a nice butt. I don't know if I can say that on a podcast. Apologize.
Hell yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I know that he's kind of into me. I'm kind of into him. So I'm sure I planned sitting in the back of the van that my dad was driving. My dad's the pastor.
Damn, dude.
And I remember him like eyeballing us from the rearview mirror the whole time, like just watching. Like these two are talking too much.
I remember that.
Because we were just laughing the entire time. Yeah. And that is one thing about us. Like from day one, it has always been just laughing, joking. Till this day, like the things we tell each other, like it's just we have so much fun together, and that's been kind of what makes our marriage really exciting, just because it's always something. Yeah. It's always something, right? So that just kind of what set the tone for us. And, granted, things didn't go exactly like they're supposed to go in the order of life, but here we are today, and it's been quite the ride, and so it's all those little things that make us who we are today, honestly.
Yeah. You guys beat the statistic.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a couple of teenagers, right, and getting married and then having babies. I mean, gosh, we were both teenagers and we had 2 babies. I mean, we weren't even out of our teens and we were already, having 2 babies. But I think she's accomplished a lot in her professional and career as well. And I've done a little bit here and there, but I think to this day, this is the single thing that I'm most proud of is our marriage, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I will say it's really fun being around you guys because you could tell. This is gonna sound weird, but you could tell you guys actually love each other. When and it's not like you guys are. I mean, obviously you're touching now, but you're not like always like making out and like grabbing each other and stuff. But like Melissa and I, my fiance, spoke about this after we had dinner with you guys. Like there was no bickering. There was no like putting each other down, and we have friends like that too, but we've also been around those couples that were just kind of like, all right, I think we're good hanging out. We don't really want to hang out with them anymore. But yeah, when you guys told us that, I was like, I can't imagine the 15-year-old me or 16-year-old me even like getting married. Like I thought I was gonna marry the girl that I was with when I was like 20. Now I look back, I'm like, dude, I was so wrong. Like, that's wild. What's probably been the glue, besides your lovely daughters, that has helped you stay together?
I say, if I were to jump in, Mama, I would say definitely our faith. I think, having God at the center of our relationship has always been so important to us. And I think having that, it's allowed us to forgive, because we know that's part of who we are. It's allowed us to show each other grace when we haven't been, well, I say we, but I mean me, when I haven't been at my best. I've always told Mama since the beginning, she's like always been perfect, right? She's always been a perfect wife. But I think in my shortcomings and my opportunities, she's always been so gracious and so loving. So I would say that's definitely the first part, is that piece. And then secondly, I think we just communicate. We talk so much. If I'm at a meeting, right after my meeting, I call her, and even though I'm going home and I'm going to see her in 5 minutes, it's like I'm talking to her before I even get home. Or if I travel, I used to travel a lot for work. It was just always a big part of us, is the communication piece. But those are the 2 things that I would say is, and I would, we choose love or choose forgiveness over being right. Choose just getting over things when it's hard to. So doing a lot of that, I think, has been really good for us, and that's kept us in love. And we take care of each other. Yeah. So I think that's a big one too. So
we just make that decision every day, right? That you're my person. We show up for each other. You know, we stand by each other, and we work through whatever comes our way. So that takes commitment, right? Like, we're going to work through this, whatever comes our way. We've been through so many different situations in life, and we've just decided to hold hands and work through it and figure it out. And no matter how hard things get, financially, with kids, whatever it is, we're like, and we always say, we're not going to turn on each other. We're not going to turn on each other, right? Because it can be so easy to turn on each other when we have different opinions or whatnot. And so, in everything we do, we just look at each other and we're like, okay, we can't turn on each other, okay? Like, we got to stick together because that's the only way we're going to make it through this. And that seems to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you were like, maybe both of you were like, this is tough? Like, you know, those moments where it's a little bit tougher than usual, and not that you had doubts, but maybe you were like hoping you get out of it?
I think probably at the beginning of our marriage, it was harder because we were so young. We're trying to figure it out. We have 2 babies. Just growing up and figuring life out and financial situations, all those stresses in life, it's when it was really hard, I think. Yeah. Not that we didn't like each other, we did, but there's so much going on in life, and, you know, just trying to, like, what's the next step? Can we pay the bills this weekend? You know, are we going to be okay? And that can put a lot of pressure on a marriage. And we were still, I mean, we were not even dating for that long when we got pregnant and married, so we're still getting to know each other. Yeah. You know, and so kind of figuring out, like, who we are and all those pieces. But, you know, we chose to figure it out together, and we did. But yeah, there was times where we were like, what are we doing?
Did we make the wrong choice?
This is hard, you know. And I still, till this day, will always be like, it was the best thing that could have happened to us. I really do. If I could do life again, I'd probably do it exactly the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Without all the financial struggles.
We just have money. I would just have a little money.
We just need to have money.
We would just have
and
money.
It would be great. Yeah, we're a little broke for a little bit there. Yeah.
We kind of all feel it right now. But let me kind of turn it towards you. I'm at a point in my life of, like, where I talk to my friends. My friend circle's gotten smaller, and we're having this kind of coming of age. We're either at our late 20s or early 30s. I just turned 30. But we're having this kind of coming of age of, like, what it kind of really means to be a man. Like, we've heard the whole provider thing, but we have to be a little bit sensitive, and we also have to be that provider. Like, not just for me, it's like you have to be, if you're not, like, rich or have money, maybe she has the higher paying job, quote unquote, or whatever. You have to provide in a different way. You know, she goes to work, you step in and help, something like that. Or you find that job, or you find that kind of thing that you're passionate about. I've met the guys that are completely lost because they're just not passionate about anything, or they're super lost. Did you ever hit that point of, like, I'm almost like you don't feel like a man because you don't feel like you're stepping in the ways you should?
Yeah, of course. When we were, I would say, maybe 18, when I was 18 or so, I had a back injury at work. And I was out of work probably for like 2 years, you know, kind of recovering and trying to get all the legal stuff squared away. And not providing for me was the toughest thing that I ever went through on that personal level. Because, yeah, you're right. A man is a provider, but not only a provider, I'm also a protector. I also have to treat her right. So there's so many layers of what a man is, of how I was taught, and then what I also learned along the way. But yeah, it was tough. It was tough for those 2 years, and ever since then, I, never, thank God, everything's gone great after that from a career perspective. But yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough couple of years, and she worked. She never stopped working. She held it down for a couple of years. I mean, I was getting like unemployment, or not unemployment, like disability, which was like $30 a month, something crazy like that. Yeah, it wasn't much, but
it was big money back then.
Yeah, it counted back then. But yeah, no, it was definitely a tough time for me as a man. But like you said, I stepped up in other ways, right? I took the girls to school every morning. I learned to brush hair, which I never did before, and did the other stuff that I could do because I was available and I was there. So just leveled up on the other stuff. But no, it's tough. I mean, to me, I take being a man very seriously. I take that being the leader of the home and, the provider, the protector, doing all that stuff. But above all that, it doesn't really matter if I don't show her love and I don't treat her like the delicate woman that she is, right? And chivalry is still alive. I open her door every day. And,
hell yeah.
I do all those things too, in addition to the male roles that I was instilled that I should have. So, but no, I truly believe that a man is a man, and, we'll leave it at that.
I do have to say that if I made more money than you, like if you didn't work anymore and if I was like this whole provider, I don't think I would care as long as you continued to treat me the way you do. Yeah. Because that says so much more. It's who cares who makes more money, right? As long as like I get in the car with the girls to go somewhere and they park and get out and I'm still sitting in the seat because I'm waiting for someone to open my door because it's what he's always done for me. Or like I've traveled alone when he was in Texas and I would go see him. I can carry my own luggage. I can do everything. But when I'm with him, I can't do anything. I'm like, you got it, honey? I'm walking with my coffee, and it's just like, I love that about him. And he is like, just today I got home from work, and he looks at me, gives me the biggest hug, and he's like, you are so beautiful. Do you know how beautiful you are? Like, we've been married for 26 years.
Yeah.
I know I don't look the way I did when I was 17. Yes, honey. So much better, But it's just those little things that, as a woman, I don't think it matters so much he needs to make more money or the provider. Like, I think that's like old school mentality. We want the love. We want you to show up for us. We want you to put us first and make us feel like there's no other person in the world that matters but you. And that's exactly what he does. And it's amazing.
Damn.
It's amazing.
That's beautiful. That's something I'm working on, is being a little bit more vocal. I think I called Melissa beautiful one time and she's like, you don't really do that a lot. I was like, oh shoot, I don't. And it's not because I don't think that. I'm more of a hugger,
Yeah. No, but the words and everyone's love language is different for sure. Some
like
people don't like
now.
that. Some people are like, don't tell me those things. But yeah, I mean, he calls me flaquita and I'm like, last I looked in the mirror, I'm not that flaquita, but it's just the cute little names he gives me. Chula, like all these little, and it's sweet. Like,
yeah.
So we love that. I love that.
We love that.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for a man that's struggling right now?
Yeah, I would say find the area that you feel like you're struggling in and read about it, seek mentors, talk to people. I've always looked at men that I want to emulate and then try to do the things that they do and learn from that. But I would say just kind of pinpoint what you're struggling with and try to perfect it, try to get better at it. I mean, no one's perfect at anything, right? But we all have our strengths and weaknesses or opportunities, I should say. But I think you have to have a plan and a desire first, and then it all comes after that, right? I mean, I hope that answers that question. It's tough to say, right? I think one-on-one you can kind of address things a lot better for whoever needs whatever, right? But I think just knowing what you want to improve, like that was one thing I've always told her. I said, I don't know a lot of things about a lot of things. But one thing I will tell you is I said, no one's going to love you the way I do. I've always told her that. And I've always tried to honor that, right? Whether it's through affection, whether it's through words, whether it's through gifts, whether it's any way I can, right? There's a lot of things I do wrong. A lot of things. But one thing I try not to ever mess up on is, how I love her. So that's a priority of mine.
I mean, I think you answered the question. It's a hard question. And I think people in general are just kind of lost right now. That's kind of why I wanted to start this again. And I'm so deep in the business space right now that like people are like, so you're trying to funnel clients, and I'm like, dude, excuse my language, I don't give a shit about that. Like I just like to talk to people, and I obviously like to talk. So, and I think people can learn so much from talking because we're just on the phone all the time, and everything's A to B. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
Here. Cool. What are you doing tonight? This. Come hang out. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like every touch point is transactional, right? And it shouldn't be like that. So
exactly. Life feels super transactional right now. But speaking of life and people, what have you guys learned about human beings since you started a coffee shop? It could be positive, it could be negative.
I love people. I think everyone has something great to offer. And I think sometimes we catch people on bad days.
Yeah.
And I think I'm learning to understand that everyone has something going on. And so not to judge based on like the interaction I have with them sometimes, because you're like, wow, this guy's really bitter, or this guy's really an angry person. But sometimes I think like nobody walks around wanting to be this way. So they're probably going through something. So I've learned to become very empathetic with people. And my biggest thing in life has always been when I walk away from having a conversation with someone, I want them to be better or feel better than before they started talking to me. Otherwise, like, I'm failing at life. Like, I should never pour my negative energy onto anyone, because it's no one's business whatever's going on with me, right? Like, unless I'm having like a therapy session where I'm like, let me give you all my problems. My thing has always been like, I've been really good about, I'm going to put it away because I'm going to show up for whoever's here, and I'm going to give them what they need at this moment. And I think that if we all did that, if we all just gave our best to everybody and made everybody smile, it'd be a very different world. And I'm learning that at the coffee shop, because I'm always greeting people with a smile and, how are you? It's so great to see you. Tell me about yourself. And if they need a vent, go ahead. Tell me what's going on. I'm here for you. How can I help you? I see most people smiling, and they're happy to be there. And when they come back in, it's with a smile, and they're so excited to be there. So I just think people just need people to show them love and kindness. And people want to be heard. And sometimes we just want to rant and talk to them. And so I'm just learning to leave people better than they were when I walk away.
Yeah, I would say one thing that I learned is you'd be surprised those that really want you to do well. Mm-hmm. And sometimes those that you expected would want such good things for you, they don't really want that for you. So to me, it's like the unexpected people that never met you before, that want you to succeed and just crush it and do so well. That to me was eye-opening. Like, and I'm like, whoa, that person hasn't even stopped by. It's weird. Like, that person hasn't one time asked about how it's going or anything. And those that you would never expect, like, they want you to win the world over. They can't wait for you to open a second location. And so to me, that's been so cool of the people that we've learned that who really wants us to win and who, don't. And you can't judge who it is and who it's not, but it's different. Like, I've learned that. We've even had conversations about that, and we just keep rolling along.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like a time thing, or is it like they genuinely have this disdain for people who do well? Because I know people like that.
I think we all do, right? Yeah. They say they're your friends, and then you kind of see a different side of them. I mean, I don't know. I'm just learning to not look so much into it, because at first it bothered me. Like, people that I thought were in my corner then never supported. And I was like, that's really interesting, because if that was my friend, I would 100% be like the first one in line, because I could, I'm so excited for them and so happy for them. But I think I'm learning to just let it go and not care and be like, those who are in my corner. And like you said, your friend circle gets smaller as your years go by, and you get to the point where you're like, I see who's there for me, and I see who cares about me and genuinely is in my corner. Therefore, the ones that aren't, like, they were in my life for a phase of my life, and they served their purpose. Like, it was a great time. I have beautiful memories. Yeah. But I'm not going to hold it against them, but I'm also not going to go looking for them either, because I'm going to invest my energy and my time to the people that are in my corner and that love us and are cheering us on. Like, you really see who are your friends and who really cares about you. And You know, we're getting older. Like, we don't have time to be entertaining people that don't care to be your friends. Like, that's okay. You don't want to be my friend anymore?
And
that's fine.
Yeah,
you know, it's okay.
And I know this is your podcast, and it's not a plug for you, but I always share the story of you and how we met and how we were just a customer or a client of yours at one point, and how you were so, I don't want to use the word impressed by us, but we hit it off immediately, right? We became friends, and you just wanted to be a part of the journey. You said, hey, I just want to be a part, anything I can help with. And here we are, like 5 years after we first met. We're doing a podcast. We can always count on you to stop by if we need something.
We went on double date.
We went on a double date.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully we hang out a lot more, but we have no relationship prior to that. We're not family. We didn't know of anything about each other, but we know we can count on you. I can call you before I call maybe even a family member, like, you know, so that's the kind of stuff that's really been eye-opening for us. Mm-hmm. And it's been amazing because we see who really wants us to win. And you're a prime example of that.
Damn.
Quiere llorar.
I know, dude. I'm in a very emotional state right now. No, I appreciate that. I mean, you guys are... I have amazing clients. I think that's let's make this about me. I have incredible clients. I've people always ask me, like, have you ever had a bridezilla? And I'm like, never. I've never had. Maybe I'll have, like, you know, a parent or a tia or something that tries to overstep, like when I'm shooting a wedding. But I've been so lucky, and I've gotten super lucky. I mean, I got lucky meeting you guys. We did the Caballo Dorado. I don't know if you remember that at your daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But usually it just, I'm happy, it's the moment, and then it's like, all right, well, thank you guys, see ya. It's almost like a performance. Mm-hmm. I love all my clients, but yeah, you guys, for some reason, we just kept popping up. And at the time, I wasn't really spiritual, but now, like, definitely God's plan. And as soon as I heard that you guys were starting a new venture, I was like, dude, let's do it. And then Herman, you spoke about starting a laundry spot or something like that, a laundromat. And I was done talking to you, and then I was driving home, and I pulled up like YouTube videos, and like, what is the cost? Like, what, like, that'd be sick. Like, so I think I'm super blessed, and people always look at me and they're like, dude, that's so dope that, like, you guys are like superstars. Like, people are like, you work with, how do you know them?
Oh, like, are we famous?
You guys are famous.
We're famous in Escondido?
Are those the Good Source people? Good Source people. But every time I can plug you guys, I'll plug you guys. I do the media for Broadpoint, and I'll do like I probably shouldn't share this, but whatever. I'll do an end of the month thing, and every single time I try to throw in like a coffee cup, like a sticker. Like, I can go to every single end of recap and, like,
beautiful,
look through them.
I always comment on them. I'll be like, nice sticker, nice cup.
But all of that, like, right, that matters to us. I mean, we're small business owners. Any little thing,
it's the little things.
It's big. It's a big thing for us.
But that's what we're talking about. Like, people that care about you and are in your corner. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm going to have a meeting. I'm going to go do it at Good Source. Or I need a gift card for my friend. I'm going to go grab them from the coffee shop. Or I'm going to put a little sticker in here. So, like, no one's saying you have to do that, yet you want to do that. Like, that is the coolest thing, you know? And I love that about you. Like, so we appreciate you.
Yep.
We really do.
You guys are my people, man. I want all my people to win. Where's my phone? I want to get into... What the hell? Oh, here it is. I want to get into these questions.
Okay.
The burning questions.
Oh, no. The burning questions.
Oh, your coffee.
Let me see. Yeah. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. This is great audio
right now.
What are you
drinking?
Okay, so I told everyone that you guys were going to be on. And by everyone, I mean whoever watches my stuff.
Do it.
What are you drinking?
So Herman made me a cold brew with, and I'm not a cold brew person. I like, excuse me. Okay over there.
that frog?
Sorry. I usually like me a latte or a matcha, but, you know, the coffee shop was closed because we close at 2. So he made me a cold brew with some sweet cream and vanilla.
Dulce de leche.
Oh, it's dulce de leche.
With cold brew.
With cold
that
brew.
has caffeine in it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby, cold
Dude,
brew.
what the heck?
Cold brew is
We've been up since early.
it's charged, brother.
I had to work today.
That's the
That's
most
like
charged
gas.
drink we have. Yeah.
What are you drinking? Just black coffee?
Yep.
My man. It's 5:57. No, it's 6:42. And you're
been a
drinking
long
caffeine?
day. Yeah,
You're going to be able to sleep?
My cutoff is about 8 o'clock.
Oh yeah,
8?
Yeah.
we own a coffee shop, Felix. We drink coffee.
Those of you that are only drinking
we
one
drink
or two,
coffee to go to sleep. We're like, I'm ready. It's time.
That's wild.
those of you
Yeah.
drinking 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, you got to get those numbers up.
Absolutely not. Dude, I have coffee after 1. I'm done. I'm not
Really?
going to sleep. Dude,
Really?
it's so bad.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't
That must
come
be
often
that
because
must be a defect, a human defect. I don't know.
Yeah, I normally don't drink coffee too late, but it doesn't really
Yeah.
impact me.
It gives us a good energy, and then we're able to sleep.
Yeah.
dude, good for you guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into these questions. I definitely should have pre-screened these, but let me see. Daisy Cruz Romero? Marketing business. Oh, they want to know about marketing a business, starting a business, and funds, etc.
Ooh, well, whatever you think you're going to spend, double it. It's going to cost more than you think.
Yep.
Marketing, well, you got to get a really good friend and a cool guy that knows what he's doing to help you out. Felix, I know this guy. I know a guy. What was the other question?
Starting a business and funds.
So I always feel like I don't really know the answer to this, but Herman has always been very driven since we first got married. He's always been very like, the sky's the limit, right? Like he's going to go for it. He's a hard worker. I always knew that he was going to do amazing things. Me, I was more like, I got a job that I like. I'm good. Like,
That's a great balance though.
yeah, right? Like I wasn't always like, we got to do more, but he's always been like, we got to do more, we got to do better, we got to start our own business, we got to do something, right? So after he got his MBA, he kept telling me like, we're going to do something, we're going to start a business, we're going to do something. So we had some money set aside for whatever, laundromat and car wash was kind of the two things that he was really eyeballing. And I was just going to be the amazing supportive wife and be like, you do everything, dude. You can have my money, but I'll support you through it. Yeah. But we love to travel. And so coffee is our thing, and coffee came up, an opportunity came up. I think to start a business, first you need to know what it is that you love. I think if you're doing something you love, you really feel like you're not working, right? And you have to, I wanted to say you have to know what you're doing, but honestly, when it came to coffee, we just knew we loved it, and we knew what good coffee tasted like. So I think we learned along the way, truthfully, in this one, because of the way things happened. Because I had always kind of he had other plans already. He had kind of started the process for, was it a laundromat?
I was going to buy a distribution business.
Oh, see, I don't even know which one. There were so many things we've talked about.
What even is that?
And we ended up with building a coffee shop. Yeah. So I think as long as you have some money set aside and you know that it's probably going to cost you more than you thought, because everything's so expensive now. But I think my biggest thing is I was terrified the entire time. That is no joke. The whole time I was like, we got this, let's go, let's do this. But down inside I was like, wow, like I've never done this before. I'm in education. I don't know about business. And even though he had like his MBA and a good network of friends that were like in business and he had a great support system there, I still was like, I have no idea. And I think I prayed the entire time that the business was getting started because I was afraid. Like, what if it doesn't do well? Yeah. Like, what if we get slapped with these fees that we can't afford, and
taxes?
Everything kept adding up. Like, now it's more, and now it's more. And we were like, thankfully we had some money set aside just for that. But it was scary. But again, with that risk is going to come that reward. And we're seeing that now, and I'm so happy we did it. I'm so glad that we weren't too afraid to do it, because many times we were too afraid to even start something because we're like, we don't know enough about it. But truthfully, you just got to do your work. Like, we Googled everything, like Department of Health.
Yeah.
What do I need to know? Yeah. How do I get a business license? Oh, you need one from Escondido. You need one with the state. You need, there's so many things, so many pieces. And you really have to take the time to understand how everything has to be done. So you need patience. You need a great partner that's going to, we're going to delegate like, hey, we're still working our full-time job. So what are you going to take on? You're taking on the contractors. You're taking on this. I'm taking on all the paperwork, all the license stuff. Like, I'll do all of that. I'll get the LLC. Like, let's create a business account. Like, all those little pieces, because there's no way one person can do it by themselves if you're still working your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
There's no way. But, yeah, we did some pretty good teamwork.
Yep, great answer.
We did some great teamwork.
How long, up to now, how long has this lasted? Like this, I don't know if I'm asking the right question, but like, give me the timeline. Has this been 2 years in the making, 1 year in the making, 3 years? Like, since you got that nugget of an idea?
So I would say from this business, from the coffee shop, I would say...
September?
Yeah, September would be... No, it's probably... It would... Gosh, we started talking about that. September will be a year that we're open.
Yes, but I think we signed our lease in November. So I think the month before, so maybe October.
No, but we weren't, I guess we were thinking a little bit before that, though. I mean.
But we didn't know it wanted a coffee shop.
Yeah, I would say the coffee shop took us probably a year, a little bit over a year from the conception of the thought to opening our doors. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So all in all, it's kind of been like a year and a half-ish in the making.
Yep.
I work with a lot of businesses. I work with a lot of realtors. I work with a lot of self-employed people. And the one thing that I see a lot in the people that don't make it is, one, they don't love what they do. They're in it for the wrong reasons. And two, they're not willing to put in the time to learn. I feel like learning is such a skill that I don't want to say we, because I'm good at learning, but learning is such a tedious thing. And hearing you guys talk about like, oh, we had to Google everything and look at, like, dude, Google was invented. A lot of these kids don't know, like, there was a time with no Google. There was a time when like you would Google something and it was like specifically for, I don't remember what the actual thing started as, but it's so easy to start putting in the work. People don't understand that. And I think also going back to loving what you do, and I'm going to talk to the camera, a lot of people don't love what they do. They just find it easy to start. Mm-hmm. For example, again, I'm going to go back to real estate. You take a test, you're a realtor. And then they go, show me the money. But they don't think about prospecting, the 3 years that they actually have to put in before you can actually start making a profit. Even now, and on the episode before this, I talked about this, my industry, photography. People buy a camera and then they set up an Instagram and they go, I'm a photographer. And I don't like to rip on people's art, but when you're charging people, I mean, you guys know, for Abby's wedding, we're not cheap. Like, vendors aren't cheap. Mm-hmm. These people that just started are seeing that. They don't have the skill level. They don't know really what they're doing. They're just maybe kind of getting lucky. And they're like, well, I'm going to charge $5,000 because I've done 10 weddings. It's like, dude, what do you mean? Anyway, I don't want to go on a rant, but the main things that I heard you guys say is you did your research, mm-hmm. you learned the crap out of everything, and I'm sure you're still learning.
Oh, yeah.
You love it. Like, that's probably the main thing. You love the hard times. You love I remember we're going to film, go to the Instagram to go see this video, but we're going to film that drywall video. And you guys had just come back from Europe, I think. Mm-hmm. And you guys were not feeling it. Like, I could tell, like, we're like, well, you set up this, I don't know if this is how it was, but I can kind of feel the energy was off. And I was like, how'd it go? How was it? And you're like, oh, it was good. Oh, yeah, it was fun. But, we came back we had to put up the fireproofing drywall. And I was like, oh my God, there's a great opportunity to film it. And like, I look at that video now and I could see Herman's just kind of like, we got hit with I'm over here like, dude, this is great for content.
This is a great opportunity.
Here you guys are like, we're down 15 grand or whatever.
Yeah, and it's so ironic because it was an amazing vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was one for the record books. I mean, we loved everything about that trip. So, but you got, one of the things I've learned is you have to compartmentalize it, right? It's like, okay, this goes in this compartment here. and we're not touching that. This is amazing, regardless of the time frame that happened. For me, that vacation is like awesome, right? Then you come back, even though we had a phone call while we were out there, come back and we see very little progress. Mm-hmm. That was the frustration, I think, when you and I met. It didn't have anything to do with our vacation. It didn't have anything to do with you. Yeah. It just had to do with, we came back, we were 2 weeks. We spoke to the GC all the time. So, and not to get into that, but I think that was one of the things that really irked us when we showed up. Time is money. You're paying money on this lease. You're paying this, this rent, and it's just not where you thought it was going to be or where you were told it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And we'll kind of leave it at that. But I think that's the frustration piece I think that you felt. Yeah. And, like you said, it's all the phases of starting a business, right? It's not all going to be happy and easy.
No, yeah, and you have to be transparent with people and tell them, you want to start a business, it's going to be frustrating. Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's going to be expensive. You have to do a lot of work. And I think the whole time that we were in this process, I don't think we ever sat down to watch Netflix or hang out. It was
brutal.
Okay, my day job is done. What needs to get done? Here we go. Bam, 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 bam. And then it was okay, we're going to sleep. That's it. Yeah. There wasn't any time really for anything because it was we had to get stuff done. And even our vacation, we're it's not the best time to go on vacation, but we're going to trust that everything gets done while we're gone. And, so it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but it gets done. You just, got to be patient. And
I hope that covered her question. I think you did.
I hope so. If not, we're so sorry. Absolutely. Come talk to us at the coffee shop.
No, absolutely. I think we answered a lot of questions here too. TG.93 _ I think that's 30 years old. We talked about this, when they met, how they met, what's the key to a happy, loving marriage. We talked about that.
Yeah, I think we touched on that.
What inspired you guys to open up a coffee shop? You love coffee?
I think we love coffee, and we needed better coffee locally. I think
within walking distance
was the conversation, but I think we had already planned on starting a business or buying a business, so we were already looking at that. And then when we saw the location, the opportunity was just God-given, just God sent. We just saw it and we're we got to do it then. I called the leasing agent and did our thing. And here we are. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. I'll share that real quick so we can get into more questions. But we were having coffee and at another location, and then she said to me, hey, we need, what would do really good? A coffee shop would do really good at that spot where the dry cleaners was at. So me being the great husband that I am, I took it as go get it,
figure it out,
go make it happen, right? And so the next day I called the leasing agent and started talking to him. A few weeks went by, we were negotiating terms back and forth, and then I signed the lease. And I go, hey, Mama, I signed the lease. And she said, the lease to what? And I go, the lease for the dry cleaner. You wanted me to start a coffee shop. And she's like, no, I said someone else should start a coffee shop there.
Because he wanted to do a car wash or
I wanted to do something else.
So in my head, I just said it'd be really great if that was a coffee shop because it's walking distance for us and we love to walk to our local coffee shop. And then with the signed lease, it was well, you signed a document, so might as well get moving. Let's get on it. We can't sit around and be We were well, let's do this.
That's the first
start.
This. Yeah, you take that first step and you're like, it's real.
That's how it started.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. Oh, this is our friend Cynthia. C. Alviso, right? Calviso? Mm-hmm. How do you balance work, business, ownership, family life, marriage, and faith? So how do you balance everything?
Well, we do a weekly date night. That is a must. I think that really helps just us have our own time, even though sometimes we're still talking about the business. It's still time that's just set aside for us to just sit down and relax and eat a good meal. We're closed on Sundays so that we can go to church, so that we can balance that out. Family, well, we have our family working with us, so we see each other all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity to chat with them and get their input on things that, like spring flavors that are coming soon on Friday, I think, right? Friday or Saturday,
right,
we're
yeah.
releasing.
Yeah.
All those little details, like it's a group effort, right? So we always have to sit down. All right, you guys, what do you think? What are we going to do? And we all, chime in on those things. And it's just making the time. We all have 24 hours in a day. And I think you're going to prioritize what's important to you. And so for us, for a relationship, that's kind of been our thing. Like we have to have a day just to us. And sometimes it looks like we just go for a walk and that's our date night. You know what? We're just going to go out, spend some time alone, just you and I. Sometimes it's a nice fancy dinner. Sometimes it's, usually lately it's been just a nice new dinner place. And we love that. It's like our favorite thing to do. And
I think if I'll piggyback on that comment is, I think you have to be purposeful. I think you have to purposely plan a date night. We have to purposely really set some time aside for your faith. You have to purposely get up in the morning and do good in your normal 9 to 5, and you just got to be purposeful on things. And that's something that we've never lacked. We've been very purposeful with everything that we do. Yeah,
we give it 100%. We give our jobs 100%. We give the coffee shop 100%. You'll notice every Saturday we're there and we're grinding. They put me in the back to wash dishes. I am washing dishes all day, and I'm okay with that. Like that's what my Saturday looks like now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's okay. We wanted to do great. We're gonna have to put in the work. So that looks like 6 days a week that I'm working for right now, and that's okay, right? That's
well, you love
it's
to do
worth it. Yeah.
Going back to that other thing, you love to do it. Yeah, I feel like businesses were always closed on Sundays. I just now that my business started kind of, I wouldn't say blowing up, but it's doing really well. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take Sundays off. And other people are like, well, I work Sundays. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Can you shoot this? I'm like, dog, it's
And
no.
don't get me wrong, it's so tempting for us. I mean, I think about it every week.
Yep.
Like, man.
And sometimes you have to.
And there's so many people that ask us about Sundays, open Sundays, open Sundays. I heard there was a petition going around. It got all the way up to the Capitol building.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
is that the rumor?
Yeah, that's the rumor. Newsom's looking at it.
Dude.
But so yeah, it doesn't. Those decisions are made lightly. I mean, it's tough. It's so tough. But yeah, for right now, we feel good about that.
I do have to say though, on Sundays we do like to go to other coffee shops just to support other local shops or to get inspiration. Just and we just enjoy going somewhere to have coffee. And we don't have like an espresso or a Keurig at our house anymore because we have quality coffee at the coffee shop. So if we want coffee, we need to go somewhere else and get some, right? And so when we get to talking with them, like if the owners are there, we like introduce ourselves. Hey, we own Good Source Coffee in Escondido. And probably 99% of them say, oh, I wish I would have started off by closing on Sundays.
No way.
And they almost everyone says that, and they say, we didn't start like that, and now it seems too hard to do it, but I really wish I would have started by closing on Sundays.
Dang.
And so that always for me, like just gives me that like reassurance that even though, we can make more money, it's so necessary to just disconnect for one day and not be like, we just can't do this every single day. And maybe later when it's like can do great without our support or us being there all the time helping, maybe it will be on a Sunday we can open up. But right now it's like, it just solidifies that like, it was the right decision to do. Yeah. And we could always change it if we needed to later, right? Yeah. But right now we're like, we love our time, we respect our time, and we just need that disconnect from the shop one day. Just.
Yeah. Look at my clients. Okay. Germ_forgiven asked, how did he score such a hottie?
Wow.
Who could that be?
I wonder who that germ is.
I love how you threw in that Newsom thing and then just kept riding with it. And I was like, oh.
You know what? Half the time when he tells me things, I'm just listening to him and I'm believing him. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know if you're telling the truth or if you're lying to me. Because I just believe him. Because he just keeps rolling with the punches like it's normal conversation.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great bit. I do it all the time. And people are like, what? And then I'll just won't say anything. And like I texted my friend Caitlin. I was like, hey, are you going to the Reptile Expo? And she was like, LOL, where's the bit? Where's the joke? I was like, oh, no, I was just wondering. I just asked her to keep her on her toes. But she knows. Like, she knows the bit. Like, it's not funny. I'm just going to ask to, you know? And then she still brings it up like, dude, what's the reptile joke? I'm like, it wasn't a joke. That's the joke. This is not a joke.
Yeah.
You get it now. And both of you were looking at me like,
oh my gosh.
What's the joke?
Yeah, like, Herman used to do this thing where he would be like, there was this one time, and that was it. And we'd all be waiting, and he just wouldn't say anything. And then we'd be like, what? And he'd be like, and then we would get it. We're like, oh, okay, we know what you're doing.
Yeah. You know? That's like my daddy used to say.
And all the time, so we caught on eventually what he was doing, but he'd always try it with new people. You know, this one time, and just quiet, and we'd all stay quiet. Yeah. And he was like, what? Tell me, man, what? That was the joke. There's nothing. There's nothing to tell you.
I love that, dude. That's awesome. Let's see. Julian. Oh, dude. What's up, Julian? Startup costs, their journey with the renovation, and insights into sourcing their beans.
Mm. Yeah, I would say startup costs, it's a lot. We can discuss that like offline, but it's a lot. And then what was the journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, the journey is long. I would say any build out, I would say any tenant improvement on a lease, I would say calculate at least 9 months to a year for sure. I think depending on what you're trying to open. You know, as we looked at the space, it had one hole in the whole building, and it was they had one toilet, and that was the drainage. So we saw cut, we laid pipe everywhere, we ran electrical. I mean, there was so little that was done to that building. We had to do so much to make it functional for a coffee shop that it took forever, from getting permits to sign-offs to fire department, health department, everyone that had to come out. So I would say plan for 9 months to a year at least, depending on what you're trying to do.
For just the renovation?
Just the renovation, piece. And then what was the last question?
Last was insight into sourcing their beans.
Yeah, and insight, we lived in Dallas for a couple years, and we lived in a high-rise in downtown, and
flex.
Our thing was definitely going to coffee shops, and all over the world, everywhere we go. And there was a coffee shop in our building, the first floor. They had a coffee shop and some other businesses down there. And Mama loved their coffee, and I loved their coffee too. It was so good. And we just started being friends with them, asked them where they sourced their coffee, and found out who their supplier was. And so it just always stuck with us. And then when it was time for us to open up our coffee, even before we had that partnership set up, we were full-blown building out our space. We were full-blown renovating and getting ready for a coffee shop. We had no partnership of beans yet. Damn. We had no recipes done. We had no menu. Here we are going to open in 60 days, and we were like, oh, wait, we need to get some partners. And so it kind of came out of that, and then they've been great partners. They've been not only suppliers, but they've also been like consultants for us, from helping us pick the right equipment. Like they recommended the right espresso machine, the grinder, so many things that we hadn't thought of, and leading up to what we were opening. And then along the way, I know I've been in CPG a long time, so I've met some folks along the way that also gave me some nuggets here, like, hey, make sure your water's good, make sure your water. So I was like, whoa, we need the best top of the line RO system, so we invested in that, and so all of these things. So it's a long journey, but a very rewarding one for sure.
You said CPG. I know what that means, but
consumer product.
Consumer product. Yeah. I have no idea what that means.
I know. I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
I just act like I know. I'm like
yeah. Consumer packaged goods, consumer products. Yeah.
There it is. Who's your favorite daughter?
So we have a favorite Abby and we have a favorite Bree. We have one of each. Yeah. They both know that. And they ask me that all the time. Like, Mom, who's your favorite? And I'd be like, you're my favorite Brianna. And she's like, that's a lame answer. And then Abby will ask me and be like, you're my favorite Abby. And that's just the way it is. I truly think I don't have favorites.
Our
kids will say differently, but...
Yeah. I always say we've loved Brianna longer. because she was here before Abby.
A whole year.
Yeah.
14 months.
But, so does that help?
Yeah, Abby was the first person who asked a question, and she said, "Who's the favorite kid?" And then Brianna was the third question I got, and it said, "Who's her favorite daughter?" The second question I got is from @YourRealtor Leslie. Who is Raquel's favorite cousin?
Ooh.
Shout out to la prima. You know what? I have to say that, our family, we see each other maybe once a year for grandma's birthday, if that. And opening up the coffee shop, I have seen my cousins, and especially Leslie, more than I have like in the last 5 years.
Or ever, probably.
It has been such a blessing to be able to see my family more and to see their support. Like,
Man.
They just, she has her meetings there, with her team and, or just swinging by on her day off to hang out. And it's been such a beautiful thing. So love you, prima. It's been amazing. Thank you for your support. And I have a couple other cousins that have also come along and just, they're the most amazing people. And we never had opportunities to see each other. And now we have an excuse to see each other, And so it's, hey, I want to finish my sentence. Gosh, talking about my cousins, how great they are. And I love them.
This is the bickering?
May I?
I don't want to talk anymore.
Well, we've been married 26 years, right? And I think I've seen her cousins more in the 6 months we've been open than in the 26 years we've been married.
Yeah.
And they are just the coolest people.
They are.
Shout out to Leslie, to her sister Jenny, to her cousin Angel and Danielle. I mean, they've showed up. They've showed up big for us, and we couldn't be more thankful for them. For sure.
I know. For the grand opening, when I saw like the whole group of them there, like literally, I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah,
Never
so
did
cool.
I think I would see them there. Like just,
Yep.
And it's people that love you and support you from a distance, and they're right there waiting in line to come in, and it's those little moments that I'm so grateful for them and for family. Like they love them. Love you guys. You guys are amazing.
That was a wild first opening too. Grand opening.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
The restroom?
Absolutely. It's kind of odd to get to. We might have to.
Okay. I have to
Pause.
Let me take a break. Do you need the bathroom? Couple more questions. We're back from our break. I have 3 left. Best and hardest part. Hannah Morales. Shout out Hannah. I shot her wedding. Best and hardest part of working and owning a business with the spouse. Best and hardest part.
I think the best part is that you get to hang out together and you accomplish things together. There's like a big reward to that. Like when we opened, it was like, it was just, it'd been a whole year, right, that we've been working on this. So it was great to do that. I think the hardest part is that the work really never ends because you guys are always together. So when we do date night and we're like, all right, we're just going to enjoy each other's company, we're talking about the business.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
you know what would
sales
be
were
great?
down.
Yeah. Or like, can you believe this? Da, da, da. Like there's always something, right? So sometimes that can, like it never really ends like your regular job, like you leave and you're done, right? You're just like, you go home, you hang out with your people. But when you guys are all in it somehow, even like when we were in Hawaii, we're like, all right, we're not going to talk about the shop. And then we'd be like, hey, so I was thinking for the next drink we could do this and da da da. We're like, no, we're not doing that. We're not talking business right now. We're on vacation. Trying
the matcha and being like, well, theirs isn't as good as ours.
Ooh,
You guys came back.
It was not.
You guys came back with that story.
We went to like 4 different coffee shops, and I'd always be like, where do you get your matcha from? Or what matcha do you use? And it's already like pre-made. Yeah. Oh, it's culinary. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I'm going to take your latte. Yeah. So that could be like, it's hard to kind of stop because there's always something to talk about. There's always something to say. That's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think being able to succeed together has been really cool. That's been really fun. Like she said, a couple of times we've had to like just go outside and just go, hey, let's just take a minute. Just be so thankful for this moment and seeing the shop full. So the wins together, and I think the hardest part would be, I don't know, if maybe the frustrations that have come with it. Mm-hmm. Seeing her frustrated or seeing me frustrated has probably been hard for her. So I would say that there's not too many hard parts about it, honestly. But I would say definitely more wins for sure, and being able to do it together has been pretty cool. So that's the best part.
But we also really like each other.
Yeah.
So if you don't really like your partner, it's going to be hard because you're not going to enjoy it all the time together. And I think we have a really good balance. Like if I'm really like frustrated, like he's really good about calming me down, and then vice versa. Like we're never both on that same level of like frustration, because then that would be chaos.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have each other to kind of balance each other out and be like, it's okay. We got this. It's going to be all right. Take a deep breath. We got this. All right. Okay. You know, so I think that's, and I don't know that everyone has that. I don't know that everyone has that like balance. So we can't say that in general it'll always be like that for everyone. But I think for us, that's what has made it really fun, that we enjoy each other's company.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to yap too much, but my fiance and I went to like a church retreat thing. I think I was telling you about. It was a day one. We have a weekend one this weekend, but they talked about saying please and thank you a lot, and they also talked about like even however like stressed you are, like go get me that, you know, could you please get me that, like, and Melissa was like, I always feel like whenever you're stressed, you're like, you always say please. I'm like, what do you mean? And like, I'll be rushing to work and she'll like be getting like, she'll be waking up and she'll just be standing in the way, and I'm like, move please. She's like, you always say like, move please. And
you're polite. You're like rude but polite, you know?
Get out of my way, please. I love you. And just, you know. But they also talked about how there's different types of people. There's the people who think out loud and have to kind of, their plan unravels out loud. And then the other person, and it's usually the female doing that, and then the male, it's not always like that, but the male is the one who's thinking inside. And
yeah, we're opposite for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the one that speaks and then thinks. And I hope you guys will get annoyed with this, but she always thinks before she speaks. Like,
yeah,
I can't think of a time where she said something and she was like, "Oh my gosh."
Know.
You know, it's just wild. So, but I'm the opposite, right? It's like,
yeah.
Why did you say that?
But he's also really good about apologizing, and I don't like apologizing, so that's why I think before I say things, because I don't want to have to say things that I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more like, let me be strategic, because I don't want to just say something that later I'm gonna have to be like,
sorry,
I'm so sorry. I'm saying sorry. I really don't like saying sorry, but if I have to, I will, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I'm more of a take it in. Let me think about this. Am I going to make a big deal or not? And yeah, Herman lets it out a little bit sooner than it should come out sometimes, you know. But
well, an advice for anyone that's listening is if you're the person that talks out loud and goes, "What do you think?" and your partner just kind of sits there and goes, "Okay." It's not that they don't care. It's they're probably processing it, but you're asking for an answer like this. Yeah. That's probably the only thing that I learned at that thing. Hopefully I learned more this weekend, but shouldn't have said that. But Melissa said the same thing.
Don't throw her under the bus.
Yeah, we didn't learn much. Anyway, it'll be more intensive this weekend, but yeah, we had that. She was telling me something about the wedding and was like, "Hey, what do you think about doing this?" And I go, and then she goes, "Because I think that blah, 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 blah. So what do you think?" I mean, I think, well, because I'm also thinking that, and I was going to go, "Dude, chill out." And then I thought, oh, she's doing the thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, and I have to do my thing.
Yeah.
And I just looked at her and I go, "So you're worried about this and this, but you want to do this?" "Yeah." "Okay." And she was like, "What?" I was like, "No, let me think about my answer." And she goes, "Okay." And I was like,
it works.
Dude, that's crazy. Like it worked. So pretty much the quiet person has to be like, "Hey, I acknowledge you and I heard what you said and this is what you are thinking. Give me a second."
Yeah.
And it'll, boom. Because it's easy to just be like, "Dude," right?
Yeah.
Both sides. "Say something. You're saying too much. Blah, blah, blah." But it seems like you guys have that. So.
Sometimes
Sometimes
I just interrupt him too.
Yeah.
I love interrupting.
That happens. Okay, last two questions. Do you guys have investors?
No.
It's a very,
Oh. Wow. Does somebody want to invest?
I don't know. Lucy with 5 E's _ She wants to know if you have investors. They don't have investors.
We don't.
And she asked the same question that you asked before. How much capital did you start with? But I don't think you want to talk numbers.
Yeah, I would say it's depending on the size, depending on the square footage, depending on what you're looking to do. There's a lot out there.
I guess, and like I said earlier, whatever you think it's going to be, just double it. That's pretty much what we thought it was going to be, and then we doubled it.
Yeah.
Kind of, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a number to be had, I would say when I did the research, I thought it was going to be around 80 to 120,000, and it was higher. So, but that's what all the research that I was able to find is kind of what it said on an average. And then if you really want to get granular, then you can go, hey, here's the square footage. The average cost of construction is like $8 a foot, and then you kind of do the math. But I think that's kind of just ballpark, depending on space, location. But then there's so many variables, right? There's rent that you have to pay for. There's fees, there's licenses. So you get build out as one thing, then you have licenses, then you have equipment. So when I looked at those numbers, it was only really looking at the build out, not everything. So then you get hit with like, do you want the best espresso machine or like the cheapest espresso machine? Well, you don't want to go at the top because we don't have that kind of funds, but we also don't want to start at the bottom. So then you start to compromise. What can we compromise not being the best, and what can we not compromise, right? So you kind of go through all those things.
And it also depends. Like, it's always going to vary, right? Just because we went in not realizing like that we needed a grease trap. Yeah,
true.
Right? Once we were already in it, talking to the city of Escondido, they're like, you need a grease trap. And I said, why? It's coffee. And he was like, you need it. You have to have it. And so things add up, talking about electrical, or the plumbing, you have the wrong kind of plumbing. We need to do all of this. We didn't look at that. We didn't know. And then, of course, I want it to be beautiful. So I'm picking all these designs and beautiful things and that I wanted to put in it. So you can also, we've gone to some places that is very minimal what they do, right? They just slap some paint on the walls and
stain the concrete.
And it's good to go. So it all depends on what you want for that place. I wanted a space that was beautiful. I wanted it to be my dream kitchen. So I was like, here it is. Yeah. And I told Sarah, okay, Sarah, here's my Pinterest. This is what I want for my house. So make my coffee shop be this beautiful space that I want. And she nailed it.
Yeah, she killed it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So those things cost a little more because I wanted to upgrade to the nice wallpaper and the nice sconces and pendants. Like, you don't have to do all those things. But I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. You want a beautiful space because people love being in there, right? And so I think that that creates an environment that is very welcoming when, people love what they see. And we've had people making their kitchens look like our coffee shop.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Look, I'm remodeling my kitchen. It has your pendants and it has your paint color,
your tile."
They're asking for the flooring. What flooring do you use? And so it's so great, to be able to share that and inspire people. So for me, it was worth it.
Yeah.
But if you're on a limited budget, then those are some things you're going to give up, right? And be like, all right, well, I'm not going to spend as much on paint and those things. So it really is going to vary on the space. And we always said when we open our next location, we're going to try to find a place that already has a kitchen, already has a grease trap, so that we don't have to spend that extra money on those things, and we can spend it more on making it look pretty.
Right.
So now with the experience we have, we know, what are we looking for? We can be picky now with what we're choosing so that we can save some money and use it for something else.
So there's going to be a next location, huh?
Spoiler alert.
Sometime in the future.
Sometime in the future, yeah.
Well, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time, but I appreciate you guys being here and being my first guests. I did this before, but now being back, and I'm kind of at a different time in my life, and this was really nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie. I usually don't get nervous, but...
You're 30 now. This is a different stage of your life.
Different.
Yeah.
2010, baby.
Thank you guys. Do you guys want to give a shout-out or plug anyone or any last words?
Yeah, I would say... thank you so much to our community.
Yes.
There's no good source without the great community that we have and all the support that they have given us. So we're nothing without our amazing customers, plain and simple.
Yep. And I think for me, it's just a shout out to our staff too, because without them, we can't do it. I don't know how to make coffee. I don't know if you guys know this.
She's never pulled a shot.
I don't even know how to use a register. There was one time that I had to try to use it, and it was embarrassing, the line at the door. And I was like, I am so sorry.
Oh, God.
I don't know how to use it. So, we can't do it without our staff. I just like to go and drink the coffee, and I will wash your dishes, but that's it. Like, I do not know how to make coffee.
Yeah, so shout out to Abby, the boss lady, for running the place. Shout out to Brianna, our oldest, who's our chemist, who's our chef, who's our cook back there. She comes up with all the recipes on her own from scratch. All of our stuff is made from scratch.
Yeah.
And she's the inspiration behind that. And for Bree, our barista, for Nate, for Rosa, for Jared, our community loves them because they're just great kids. So
they're so great. We're so blessed to have them. Like,
yeah.
We really feel so lucky. And we love Escondido. We're born and raised here. We love the city, and we just hope you guys love our coffee and come visit us.
The city loves you guys.
The mayor's coming out to the shop, right, Mama?
Yes, on April 22nd. So Moms of Escondido is going to be doing, her name's Angelica. She runs the Moms of Escondido Instagram page. And she's going to be doing coffee with the mayor. And so on April 22nd, he'll be at the coffee shop. So if anybody wants to come by.
Maybe we can have you come out.
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely. I was going to check we'll talk after.
April 22nd, I think it's at 9:30 that the mayor will come. So we're so excited to have the mayor come and visit. I don't think I'll be there, but everyone else will be. So, if you want to come visit, that'd be great.
The mayor's dope.
Yeah.
I like this mayor.
Cool. Yeah, he's got a
We're
story.
So excited.
Yeah, his story's dope. Dude, maybe one day I'll get him on here.
Yeah.
Follow them at Good Source Coffee. That's where you'll get everything, all the information, all the drops, all that stuff. Give me a follow at Majorca Media. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Better ending than opening. Yes. Opening.
Raw.